Hey folks, made it back out here to the woods today. Gonna do another segment on the Woodscraft, Bushcraft, dirt time, dirt cheap, and I want to talk about cutting tools. Got several economically priced cutting tools out there, and mostly what we're going to talk about today pretty much is knives. Now, you probably see a lot of hype about this knife or that knife. I'm saying there are good knives out there for a lot less cash. You know, and we're talking, you know, $20 will get you into a decent knife, sometimes even less. $50 will get you into a decent, real good quality knife. And anything in between that, you know, we're, like I said, we're talking dirt time, dirt cheap. You know, my Woodscraft activities basically consist around, you know, putting up some kind of a shelter, doing a little bit of cooking, of course, fire prep, you know, the occasional squirrel skinning, you know, of course I do deer hunt too on occasion, but you know, it's one of those type of deals where, you know, what are you going to be doing with your knife and what do you expect out of your knife? Now, I've already been through several videos where I've basically downplayed batoning knives. I'm still not a big fanatic on knife batoning, okay? But, you know, what kind of knife do you carry with you for an everyday carry, you know? I've got this little Camellias knife, and, you know, it's a fantastic knife for just a daily carry. You know, it's got a couple of nice little blades. It holds a good edge. You know, it's nothing fantastic. I cleaned the blue jean lint off of it a little bit there. And, you know, it's not a fantastic knife for, you know, big, exorbitant, expensive, but, you know, it's a nice looking, classic two-blade pocket knife. It does everything I want it to do on a daily basis, you know. Like I said, there's many different knives out there, and you can spend as little or as much as you need to on a knife. I think your knife is probably one of your most important go-to tools when it comes to Woodscraft, you know. And you need to choose accordingly with what you're going to use that knife for. So let's take a look at just a few different knives that are economical, that we can do some dirt time, dirt cheap. Okay guys, I'm back, and here's a few of the knives that we've got that are very serviceable. First one I'm going to start with, this is the cheapest knife out of the lot. It's got a nylon sheath. It's basically a laminate style handle, and it is a stainless blade. Now you can see that kind of in proportion to my hand. It's got some nice finger cutouts for grabbing a hold of, which really makes a big difference. It's kind of shaped in the Nessmuck style, but it is stainless. It's got two very hefty screws that hold the thing together. Super thick, and I'm telling you what, it's razor sharp right out of the package. Now, I picked this knife up at a farm store. Cost me $8. Would I put my life on it? I don't know yet. Would I baton it? Certainly. If it was push comes to shove and I needed to baton something in the worst sort of way, you know, some small diameter firewood just to get down to the center of what's dry to make fire? Certainly. Would it last? I can't tell you. Can't tell you the kind of stainless it is. All I can tell you is that blade is super thick. You can see my thumb laying next to it. I'll even dig a quarter out and we'll show it to you with a quarter up against it. There's the thickness of a quarter. That's the thickness of the blade. I'm gonna say it would be a darn good bushcraft starter knife for $8. How can you go wrong? If you break it, you're not out very much. Okay, that's the first one. Now here's another knife. Just your basic, what I call butcher, old hickory style. Made by Ontario Knife Works or somebody like that. There's several of them out there. Super good carbon steel blade. Nice spine on it. Not a real thick knife as far as blade thickness, but plenty hefty enough that it's going to do any of your chopping chores. It's going to let you make feather sticks, whatever you need to do with it. And it's good sized. I mean, you know, if you were going to use it on big game to bone out meat, it'd definitely do it. Carbon steel, it'll take a heck of an edge. It'll hold an edge, you know. You could use it to strike your fire steel with, you know, with the back of the spine of the knife. Talking probably $12 brand new. I found this one in a thrift store for $3 or $4. But if I was going to resell it, I'd ask at least 10. That's why I got it next to the little stainless knife. Looks like a Nessmuck. Okay. So then we're kind of going to go up the range here just a little bit. Here's a Mora. Now this is just a basic Mora. Comes razor sharp right out of the package. I mean, that thing is shaven sharp. Got that nice flat Scandi grind on it. Carbon steel, you know. Is it full tang? No, it's not. It's a hidden tang knife, which means strength is an issue. Would I baton it? No, I would not. But for just basic camp chores and butchering, whether it be from a squirrel all the way up to a deer, that knife will handle it all day long. It's got a nice rubberized grip. Fits your hand nice. Really decent little knife. You're talking 16 to less than $20. Comes with a nice sheath. That's the nice thing about Mora. They have like a PVC plastic or an injection molded plastic sheath. The knife fits pretty tight. I mean, it's got a little push off right here that you can use when you're drawing the knife, and it clips onto your belt. It's just a clip, but it's got good retention. I mean, it's not going to fall out of that sheath. I mean, you know, for $20 or less, how can you go wrong? Super cutting tool. Is it baton worthy? No, but I'm not all about batoning my knives. Again, here's another classic Mora. These knives are made in Sweden. Now this has got basically a little plastic style sheath. It doesn't have any way to actually hold it. It's more of a blade guard. Has a wood handle. I'm going to say the blade is probably less than 3 inches. Not super thick, but still carbon steel. Takes a super edge. Great camp knife. You could whittle with that, make feather sticks, butcher small game. I don't know if I'd want to tackle into a deer with it, but it definitely gets the job done. It'd just take you a little more time. That knife right there, if you can find one, probably about $15 or less. Now I've got it in a plastic sheath, but I also have a custom made leather sheath that it goes in with a belt loop on it. Something you'd probably want to do with like the butcher. This big stainless Nessmuck knife. just for the simple fact that I have actually sheathed this knife, and it's so sharp that the little nylon sheath, it is actually cut through it. I've got 3 or 4 of these knives exactly like this, different colors of handles. Great knife just to hand somebody if you're going out for a day in the woods, but sliding it in and out of this not so high quality nylon sheath, it'll split right through here. I mean, just cut right through the nylon. It's that sharp. Then we're going to go up another step, and this is your Buck 110. It's a lock blade knife. This one's got some use on it. I've had it for a lot of years. You can still buy them. I think they're just a little over $25, somewhere around in there on an average. I've used this to skin everything from deer down to squirrel and butcher them up. It's a good knife. It's got a good stainless blade. It's fairly thick. It's got a good size handle on it. Yes, it is a folder. Comes with a nice sheath. Buck is a pretty good quality knife. Buck makes a decent quality knife. It's got brass bolsters on it, both ends. It's got a super good lock. Locks up good and tight. Folds up nice. It's got brass pins, 4 of them. Holds it together here. And then also has a pin out here. And I think 1 or 2 pins on this side. You can't hardly see them because they're buffed into the brass and this is old. But for an all-around, you could carry this as an everyday carry knife and it'll last you 20 years plus, because I've had this one at least 20 years. The sheath, good heavy thick leather, comes with the knife, good heavy serviceable snap, nice heavy thick belt loop on the back. Definitely get some dirt time in, dirt cheap with a buck. Now we're going to go one step up. And I know I've did a few reviews on some of his knives. We're going to talk about Jeff White's knives. Now I've got a Jeff White knife that I ended up with. He calls it Mora Light. It's a little bit bigger than a Mora. It's still a good carbon steel blade. It's got some heft to it as far as the thickness of the blade. It's got some nice maple scales. 3 nice brass pins down the handle. Fits your hand nice. Got a little come up against right here when you're doing some butchering, whatever. Would I baton that knife? No, I would not. But you could. And I don't think it would hurt it one bit if you're not using super huge type of wood, you know. I mean, you're talking something 2 inches or less. Yeah, it'd probably baton right through it. I've had a chance to use this knife for, I'm going to say, I've had it now for 3 months. And I've definitely used it. I mean, I've used it for a multitude of things, skinned a couple of squirrels with it. You know, just general camp use. Fantastic knife. Coming in right at about 45 to 50 bucks on Jeff's website, or if you find one on BC USA. The blade, you're looking at just a little under 6 inches. I think it's about 5 inches. About a little thicker than a quarter in thickness. If you go on BC USA, you've got Robert Jones. He goes by Beowulf. Makes a fantastic sheath with a good heavy belt loop. This knife fits right in it, and it'll stay there. It's not falling out. Good knife, good sheath. So you're talking 50, I think, for the knife, or just a hair under. Not sure what Robert Jones gets for his sheaths, but I'm going to say a little over 20. So if you want to go into just a little higher end, but you're still staying under 100 bucks, and you're getting a super knife. I mean a super knife. And he's got several other different styles. So don't just take this one. Some of them have got a little bit thicker of a blade. Now this one will shred a ferrocerium rod right now. I mean, blows sparks everywhere. Not a problem. So, you know, still, dirt time, dirt cheap. You know, I've got one more that I want to show you, and it's a Mora also. It's a little less than Jeff's knife. I think these Moras, this one is a stainless steel Mora, and it's basically like the carbon steel. It's got basically the same style sheath, very good retention, you can hear it snap. Okay, it's got the belt clip. Like I said, it's a stainless blade, won't rust. If you're kind of somewhere where you're in a high humidity situation, that type of stuff, maybe stainless might be a better choice for you. But here's the clincher. It's a Light My Fire Mora. So in the butt end of the knife, you've got a fire steel that just, you give it a little twist, pulls it out, there's your fire. So this is the second segment in our dirt time, dirt cheat for our Woodscraft, Bushcraft. This goes right in with your fire, which was the first segment, with the Light My Fire Mora. And this little thing, you know, that's stainless, but hey, she gets right with the program when it comes to the ferrocerium rod that comes with the knife. And it's open so that your ferrocerium rod will stay protected, but it won't get rusty or corrode because it allows the air into it to dry. Because I'll tell you what, you get a ferrocerium rod wet under some corrosive conditions, and you may have problems with a really corroded ferrocerium rod. So this kind of wraps it up. Like I said, I showed you my Camellias pocket knife, nice little pocket knife. It's my everyday carry. I don't need much more than that. I just wanted to give everybody a once over on some really economical, good quality knives that you can get out there so you can get out and get some dirt time, dirt cheap.